All right, thank you all so much for your patience. So this was really strange. This music was not supposed to start when I opened the menu. Anyway, I had the menu open to show you all what I'm getting ready to do. There we go. Sometimes you gotta remember where exactly it's supposed to go. All right, so for Batman Forever, a game I've also run a number of times in RGL, the first thing I like to make sure I go over is the fact that this is set to the easy difficulty. For the way the game is performed as a speedrun, easy is actually the hardest difficulty. It is the fastest, but because of how the mechanics work, it is the hardest. That's obviously not how the developers intended it, but there are a lot of things that happen in this game that are completely not dev intended, and that's what actually makes it so great. So, go ahead and pick that, and I'll explain why as we're playing. Go ahead and hit this. Mistakes, they were made. There we go. Having the menu in this game with the keyboard is the strangest thing. Like, the inputs don't make any sense to me at all. Anyway, this is a game based on the Joel Schumacher movie of the same title. You know, nipples and codpiece and all. I think it was one of Acclaim's first forays into arcade, and it kind of shows. This game has a large amount of jank to it, in both good and bad ways. As you can see, these wonderfully stylized mid-90s 3D graphics that have aged so well. Anyway, we'll skip past that and go to the character select screen. There are technically 2 characters in this game, but for my money, there's only 1 character in this game, and that's Robin. So we'll go ahead and play as him. Why did the timer not start? Hello? Hang on, y'all. My timer's doing something. Did something happen to my timer? Yeah, I think my live split froze. Sorry about that. Let me reopen it. It does need to be updated, but not right now. Anyway, back to game. Sorry about the quick disruption. So Robin's very good in this game. The mechanics of the game are certainly something. To start off, we have this dive kick that you saw me use to great effect. I was just one-shotting enemies over and over. As we go through this, we're going to be collecting gadgets, we're going to be collecting power-ups, which get us meter. This might be I think this is the only beat-em-up I've ever put true grind time into that has a meter system. And of course, when you level up, you get these wonderful Super Saiyan sequences that are very in line with all things Batman. Huh, how did that not kill her? Okay, so we'll get to the real meat and potatoes of what's so great about this here in a moment. So in this game, you have a moveset. Only one move really matters for Robin, and that's this flip kick that he can do on the ground. He can also cancel his dive kick into it, which we're gonna be doing a lot of. Like so. And when we get a 40-hit combo, we get this. We have an emote for that in the channel, so feel free to use it as you wish. My personal theory is that the reason he's so overpowered is that Chris O'Donnell actually decided to voice the character in the game, whereas Val Kilmer did not. But that's just revisionist history. And completely my own opinion. So the cool thing is, while you're blue and flip kicking, you're pretty much completely invincible, which is a big part of why we spam this so much. Now there is an element of danger to it. Once you get out of the flip kick, you are vulnerable for a few frames, and enemies do sometimes take advantage of that, which is incredibly scary because enemies in this game have the ability to sometimes just kill you just by touching you. Despite the fact that we have this completely overpowered moveset of, like, you know, instant overhead and infinite, enemies can just kill you by touching you, so Robin is very much a glass cannon. For those who have played Marvel 2, at any level, treat him like Magneto. That's essentially how it works out. He just has to have meter to be able to do what he wants to do. Whee! Those guys in the red hoods in particular are the most problematic in my experience. They, I don't quite know how to explain it, but they seem to have these wider hitboxes almost. At the end of any stage, we get power-ups, and the only one we ever take is Hollow Mode, which we'll get to see the glory of here in a moment. Haven't discussed gadgets yet, but I will. I'm gonna trample over these thugs. Kill everyone while they're small. Okay. Now we activate Hollow Mode. Now there's 5 of us. We just get to light up the dance floor. So from here, I'm gonna drop down to 2 meter, collect as many power-ups as I can, power back up. And from here, we're just gonna try and close out the stage. This is a really short stage, but the last wave can cause some issues. Don't love it. Thank you. That could be a scramble. If you're at 2 and trying to get back to 3, you only need 1 power-up. They do a pretty good job of guarding it most of the time. Also, sometimes dive kick just doesn't fire, and I'm not really sure why. Here's the other issue with the Red Hood guys. They have weapons. Grenades aren't the end of the world, but the machine gun can just kill you by touching you. 1 hit causes stun lock, and then the rest of the shots just deplete your health. Thankfully, stage 2 didn't act up too much. We'll Hollow Mode immediately. Go through our little green man phase. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you can jump cancel out of the flip kick to go after a separate set of enemies and just start it again. It's pretty good. It's pretty powerful. Like, there's very little in this game that you have to commit to. You can essentially just make it freeform. Do not want stun bomb. God, I got it anyway. So about gadgets. First one I'll mention, I have stun bomb. Stun bomb's trash. It's by far the worst gadget in the game. If we pick up another gadget, we get to overlap it. So like we just lose all of them and just get something different, which is what I would like. Bataring's quite a bit better. I think I like Taser a little bit better than Batarang, but it's close. Okay, so generally what I do is if I get down to 2 meter and I need to be able to clear the way to some power-ups, that's when I break out the gadgets. It becomes the most overpowered way of taking enemies out. If you're at a 2 meter instead of 3, these loops that I'm doing aren't nearly as effective. They don't do as much damage. They don't have as much tenure. You're really better off just being back at max, or at least at most meter possible. So here we have the boss. His name is Tasshole. And now his name is Rip because he just dies to flip kick combo like everybody else. Back to Hollow Mode. So this stage is actually pretty unique. We're gonna collect an item that we only see a few more times throughout the game. Activate Hollow Mode. So we can, one thing I forgot to mention, you can flip kick enemies well after they're dead. And that can actually be beneficial because it drains meter. Which will give me an opportunity to explain why I play this game on the easy difficulty. Meter drains a lot slower the lower the difficulty is, which is actually a detriment. Reason being, if meter's draining slowly, that means we can't kill enemies as quickly. If I were playing on hard, for example, I would drain from 3 to 2 super quickly. And the benefit to that would be that I would be able to get back up to 3 with a few more power-ups and just wipe the screen. As you saw before, when Robin goes Super Saiyan, it kills every non-boss enemy on the screen. So that's a much more effective way of killing enemies, but compared to what I'm doing here, it's not nearly as fast. So here's the reason this is a unique stage. These super batarangs we have to use against the boss, which is this helicopter. You generally want to kill that thing before the 3rd cycle starts, which I was able to do, because otherwise it starts deploying more enemies, and that's bad. There we go. Okay. Now stage 5 is, for my money, the first stage that's actually difficult. Similar to what we saw with Simpsons in stage 3, the amount of space vertically that you have to be able to fight is pretty tiny. And it's also really dangerous to try to get in and out of all this. It's my point exactly. I lost meter a little bit too quickly and was not able to recover. Now I need to be able to get back to 2 and then back to 3 again. Okay. When you lose a life, you also lose a meter. So if you're at 2, you go down to 1, which makes the situation even more difficult. Okay, so right back up to 3 immediately. I personally like this game being unique to what it is. And I feel like trying to replicate it would just be something that would lose the soul of what this game encompasses. Personal opinion. Like, this game is good by mistake, you know? Like, this, if I were playing this as a typical, like, standard beat-em-up, just running side to side and just hitting enemies with punches and kicks, this game would not be fun at all. The tech is what makes this game interesting and fun. Okay, back to 3. We have 3 lives to the credits, so I've got 2 more lives to spare. Not a great situation to be in this early, but hopefully I'll be able to pull it out. That gun guy has to die very quickly. He alternates between gun and grenade. When he's on grenade, that's when I generally go for the hits. Oh, he didn't alternate that time. All right, this yellow guy is just being impossible to hit. I don't know what his deal is. Okay, I had to take him out the easy way. The slow way, but still the easy way. Okay, so this boss is gonna be these 2 robots. Sorry, whack bots. Oh, hey, they can hard moon me. Nice. Nice bait. Okay, so they can be pretty dangerous if they do get the drop on you, but the real issue is if you get down to 1 to pixel health, they can just unleash a kamikaze attack on you. Thankfully, we're able to avoid that. Okay, past the ballroom. Okay, so from here, we're gonna start seeing power-ups that are a bit more random. Things like the Riddler's question mark and the good or evil. Most of the power-ups end up being pretty good. The one we had there is definitely one of the best. Indestructible is exactly what it sounds like. It's Mario invincibility. You just don't take damage. And in a beat 'em up, that's busted. The bomb's not really too much of a concern. Free hollow mode's good. I'd rather have indestructible because then I'm safe, but this still works. Don't get to kill anything with that, but that's okay. I have full resources, which is also important. Invisibility's worthless. It's supposed to put you in a scenario where the enemies can't see you, but it's AI. Of course they can see you. Okay, on to Feather, the most notable of Batman rogues. I was actually able to get the drop on him right away and take him out, so that worked. That dude went flying. And he's still alive. You say so, game. Okay, I'd rather have Batarangs than Bola. Bola's good, but Batarangs are better because you get more of them. Flip kick frenzy. Taking all these guys out so I can just get the meter back right away. Yeah. Be sweet. Indestructible. Okay, so I didn't mention before, but this stage and the stage before it are pretty close to the same in terms of layout and enemy structure. Both fairly difficult if they get the drop on you, but as long as I'm on top of things, I should be okay. Okay. I'd rather not be near the bomb. The bomb doesn't do a ton of damage, and it actually can hurt them. I don't know what evil did in that scenario, though. Yeah, I don't love that. Don't love that at all. Ooh, I didn't know this was low on Batarangs. Alright, we're in a bit of a spot here. Go gadget Batarangs. Alright, I need power-ups and I need them now. Yeah. Got lariated from off screen, that's cool. Hate it when that happens. And we're in a bit of a spot now. I wasn't able to recover meter as quickly as I had. I had the gadgets and everything. I got gambited by something that I couldn't see. This game's dirty like that sometimes. If I can kill as many of these guys as possible without taking a death. Yeah, that's bad. Health, please. Alright, that's the credit. That sucks. Wasn't much I was doing about that. Getting nuked by 2 off-screen super moves was kind of hard to beat. Alas. We can still continue the run, just sucks to lose the 1cc. This game wants to do what it wants to do. It can be pretty obnoxious like that. Here comes another lariat. I can take that one out at least. It can't beat flip kick, but if you're at under 3 meter, flip kick just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have the priority to be able to stop that. Okay. Sugar and spice should be difficult enemies. But they start in the same spot and they just die to your combo, so get to move on. Nice pre-rendered background though. I think that was ripped straight from the movie. From Two-Face's lair. This stage is something. It has maybe the worst good evil in the game. It's one that I always try to avoid, but somehow just can't seem to avoid because enemies just want to cloud around it, and I think that's by design. Like, this is a run where you're benefited to be aggressive, but enemies know what to do sometimes to be in a spot that's going to be, you know, inconvenient for you. The reason that one's so detrimental is because in most cases what it's going to do is it's going to take away health, and it gives you a health up that lasts all of maybe a second and a half for you to be able to obtain, which means you're more than likely going to miss it. Go away, please. Thank you. Spin that out. Yeah, I should be able to take out Feather from here. Feather can do things. He has a defensive tactic where he spins his staff, and if he anticipates it, he can actually just use that to beat flip kick. Like, flip kick actually can't penetrate it. Like that thing right there, but there it wasn't going very fast. There it's fast. Like, that could actually just block and absorb incoming hits. Come on. Enemies, thank you. Alright, so I got back call as my gadget, which I'm actually really happy about. It is one of the better gadgets in the game. The only downside to back call is you only get to use it once. Outside of that, it's basically a screen clear. I'll do my best to see if I can maintain it before I can get down to 2. I still have it. This one might take a bit. It's rocking, don't come a knocking. Also has invincible startup, which is really good. Oh hey, it's that health up thing that I didn't want to have happen. No. Alright, so this is not great. I'm losing resources. I thought I should have been back up to 3 by then. I don't know where all the power-ups went from that previous segment. Anyway, we'll clear that out. Health is manageable. I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore at this point. The 1cc is dead, but still, I want to at least pretend like I know what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't want that to happen there. This was actually shown in the first stage. Turning small, the game makes you think is actually a downside, but it's actually not. When you're small, your hitboxes are still pretty much the same, but they can't hit you. You just kind of get to slide in, just be able to get the hits you need. Close out of this stage is just, you know, it's a beat 'em up. It's a bunch of enemies. We are gonna have a refight. A couple refights actually. Mohawk was from a previous stage, and Tassel we saw from stage 3. Oh, I didn't even know I got a power up. This unfortunately will not affect Tassel because he's a boss enemy. Any enemy who has a health bar is considered to be a boss enemy. Ultra combo, except he's not dead. Oh, that was a little premature. So I was trying to pick up the box, but it deployed the gadget instead, so we got to see some grapple hook action. Always fun. So in my opinion, this is actually the hardest stage in the game. The Batcave has all kinds of unfriendly stuff that nobody wants to see. The start of it's pretty innocuous, not a whole lot going on. Once we get to the end of the line on the left, and after our power-ups deplete, that's when things start getting hairy. Okay. Guess there was a bomb there. Good beats. Here comes the lariat again. I should be able to take it out. There we go. I actually think I should probably get down to 2 here so I can try to get some health back. Let this guy chase me back over here. For enemies that are slower than these guys, you can actually just move all the way to the right and despawn them in most cases. The masters, though, they have pretty good walk speeds, so they can generally just chase you no problem. Deploy this. I didn't want to have to deploy that early, but I really need to get back to 3 before I get to the bridge. And the bridge is where things really get dumb. Confined space. Grenades are being lobbed at you from the background and in the foreground. That's fun. Unblockable setup. That was rough. Lots of grenades, machine gun fire. Nothing was optimal there. We're still alive, but very, very low on resources. Oh my gosh, why does that not hit you? Okay, so I really should be at 3 here. Pretty unfair that I'm not, but I was able to take out 1 enemy and get there, so I was lucky. We'll wipe all that out. So this is underneath the Batcave, which is in this case an actual cave. This stage is pretty short, but the enemy groupings are fairly difficult. You have a lot of robots and a lot of mashers to deal with. One cool thing though is that once we kill enough enemies, we can actually move the screen far enough to the right. That was gross. To be able to spawn the boss, and that despawns every enemy on screen if I can get it to work. More than likely, I'm going to take a death here. I hope that doesn't happen, but situation not so good. Okay, so there we go. Got to spawn the boss. Killed every enemy that spawned right after that. This fight's going to work out a little bit like the helicopter fight did. We have super batarangs we have to throw at it. This is still a very strange choice for a boss. Within the context of the movie, I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't think it fits. It's a meme, I guess, but all the same, it's just like, really, guys? Someone put thought into that one? Nope. When it comes up and it flaps its wings like that, those are hitboxes. I'm trying to avoid that. Nope. Kind of becomes a bit of a dodgy fight because I didn't direction myself there. Sometimes if you don't hard pivot left or right, you don't get to move in the specific direction you want. This game has some ticks like that. It's one of the more jank things about the game. Directional influence in this game is not simple. Okay. So if you get him low enough and he's between cycles of options, what he can sometimes do is he can go into like a heal spell. You don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, the goal from there is obviously like make sure that he just gets taken care of as quickly as possible. You can hit him during the heal spell. You know, I've never actually seen that before. That throw into the background, that was pretty great. Hope we're to do that in the future. Okay, now that we're back to 3 meters, which is the only reason I stalled that for a bit. Now I can holo mode. Holo mode's very, very good, as evidenced by the fact that we pick at every single stage, but it does drain meter very quickly. And it's generally not recommended to do it at 2 meters, because you'll get down to 1 and then you just don't get to do much unless you can collect power-ups. There might be some hidden tech to be able to do it that fast, but I wasn't feeling my chances. Snuck in from behind. Meet again, tassel. Wrong direction. There we go. Mashers aren't too difficult. The guy with the yo-yo can be an issue. That thing has a very long-range hitbox, and it can combo you. I would have liked that health, but I guess it wasn't in the cards. I love that. Particularly the fact that I'm down to 2. These guys are not cooperating. We have to play this a little bit clean. Try to make sure I can get the meter I need. Not gonna be easy. I need to kill one more. There we go. Sometimes you gotta pay a little more attention than you want to during segments like that. It didn't kill that guy because he did not have, or because he had boss health, so. Whoa. Okay, so I didn't talk much about this last stage. It's just a circular spinning room, as you can see. Riddler's up there trolling us, which has no real effect on gameplay. The fact the room spins gets kind of old pretty fast. But really, it's just a revolving room of enemies we've seen a million times already, including some refights. You saw Tassel, you saw Sugar and Spice just now. We've got one more super battering to collect and throw it at the tower. And here in this perfect scene recreation, someone had their fun with that one. Alright, and on to our final boss. Here we have Two-Face, who ordinarily would probably be a really hard boss, but Flip Kick is very good against him too. Couldn't do it in one cycle, unfortunately, but... And there we have it. Alright, so that's the finished run. Bummer about the miss on the 1cc, but still a great game to show off. I greatly enjoy this game. I enjoy it more when it wants to cooperate, but still a fascinating piece of gaming history all the same. Appreciate the GGs, y'all. Thank you. That giant Batman symbol on Bruce's chest. One of the better visual items in the game, for sure. Yeah, this game is something. For the people that, I don't know who discovered it first, but for the people that brought the tech to the forefront, Fantastic Planet, Lord BBH, Funk Doc, Gundam, Can't Forget Gundam, they're the ones that deserve all the credit for getting this game to where it is, and it's very, very enjoyable once you're willing to play by its rules. But as is, that's gonna do it for me. Hope y'all have been enjoying Retrothon. It's gonna take a little bit of setup time, but up next we've got the N64 Sprint. So y'all feel free to stick around, and we've got more coming your way. Stay tuned.